late breaking news in the ongoing Russia hoax attempt as they attempt to resurrect that all over again, the Democratic Party. But what's really insane is what they're doing to the First Amendment by how they're trying to apply the Foreign Agents Registration Act. I've long said that law is patently unconstitutional, shouldn't exist, is an invitation to abuse, and the number of people who just take it for granted, its application, and never second guess it is beyond me. The second thing is the people that get accused often get hyper defensive when they should be hyper aggressive. So for those that don't know, Justice Department issued an indictment on two Russian citizens because they were investors in Tenet Media. And it's like, hold on a second. So if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can't invest in any content creation company in the United States unless you register as a foreign agent? Really? Well, let me know when Carlos Slim, the biggest shareholder of the New York Times, who's a citizen of Mexico, is going to be indicted. When is everybody connected to the BBC, which does massive investments in U.S. content? When are they going to be indicted? When are people connected to Murdoch, some of whom, unlike Murdoch, are still not U.S. citizens? When are they going to be indicted? This is asinine. This is absurd. Being a foreign citizen does not mean you have to register as the foreign agent because you merely invest in a content creation or media company of any kind in the United States. By the way, by this logic, the entire U.S. government could go to prison all around the world. Because you know who the number one foreign government is? Investing in content creation, media, and propaganda around the world in other countries? Who meddles the most? It's the United States of America. This is utterly ludicrous. And because some of the content creators on Tenet Media are conservatives, Lauren Chen, Lauren Southern, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, etc., it's purely a political prosecution. Timing of it is obvious. Right in the heart of the election season, it shows how just overtly, openly, totally, completely partisan and political our entire legal system has become at the federal level. It's more evidence that pretty much everybody at the Department of Justice should be fired and start all over again. Everybody at the FBI, fired, start all over again. Everybody at the CIA, fired, start all over again. Everybody at the NSA, fired, start all over again. This is laughably absurd. This is EU-style thinking. This is Brazil judge-style thinking. It's just nuts. It's hypocritical beyond all proportion and selective to a degree that's just insane. But it shows how utterly nuts this law is. And remember, before Trump, there had been a total of 6 FARA criminal prosecutions in 50 years. As soon as they used it against Flynn, I said this is a dangerous, dangerous pattern that they're going to use across the board to try to tie somebody in to a foreign citizen at some level. Here it's the most absurd level. You have investors who are citizens of a foreign nation. That covers pretty much every media company in the world. It's just nuts. Elon Musk was originally a South African citizen before he became a U.S. citizen. Chris Pavlovsky is Canadian. Is now Rumble paying people also Foreign Agents Registration Act violation? Has anybody thought through how nuts this is? How dangerous this is? How threatening to constitutional liberty it is? Unbelievable. This law should be absolutely scrapped. And instead, you have all these conservatives on the, we're so scared, we're so sorry, we didn't know. Quit acting like a bunch of wusses. Attack the Justice Department for the political hacks and constitutional violating thieves that they are. That's what you should do. Don't be, golly gee, I wish, give me a break. And you got that wuss Brit guy, former Russian, who's out there attacking Lauren Chen because she's been critical of Trump. And it's like, buddy, you're a foreigner. You're investing in U.S. media. You could be criminally prosecuted. Have you registered as a foreign agent? Have you? What a bunch of idiots who haven't stopped for 2 seconds to think about how insane the legal theory of this indictment is. This is not direct lobbying of legislation. This is you invest at any level in any content creation means you have to register as a foreign agent or you're committing a crime, and anybody who creates content for any company or entity owned by a foreigner is now an agent of a foreigner. Under this theory, they could lock up everybody connected to Rumble. And people haven't thought this through for 2 seconds. Tim Pool, quit being such a wuss. Don't be all defensive. Say this is a hogwash indictment. This is ridiculous, preposterous, absurd, insane, nuts. This is a ludicrous application, and it's nothing more than meant to suppress speech and continue the lie that the Justice Department has been complicit in for the past 8 years. And instead, they're all defensive and protective and whiny and complaining, except they haven't put one and one together at all. At all. New York Times knows they're owned by a Mexican. Have they all registered as foreign agents at the New York Times? It's unbelievable. It's one of the worst indictments, one of the most dangerous indictments to the Constitution in an era where we've seen a bunch of them that I've ever seen. And lawyers and constitutionalists and others better start waking up to how dangerous this law is. Some of us opposed it when they applied it to the Lord of War. In the way they interpreted that they said a deal he cut between two foreign nations somehow subjected him to U.S. criminal jurisdiction. What? How? It was like when they went after FIFA, related to World Cup fixing and in terms of bribes they took in Europe from foreigners to place it in a foreign government, foreign country. I was like, how is that the U.S.'s legal business? And they've been trying to stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. And this is evidence we need to completely erase the Foreign Agents Registration Act from existing. It will always be abused. It will always be selectively and used for discriminatory purposes, and also in violation of the First Amendment. But it's intended to suppress dissident speech, pure and simple, and criminalize it, because that's what this is, criminalizing. It's just nuts. We should have transparency, full disclosure. I'm all for those kind of rules. But this is nuts to say if you're a foreign citizen and you have any connection to any kind of content. I mean, has the left figured this out? Because what about all the work done for illegal immigrants? You're all criminals now. Congratulations, Will Sommer at the Daily Beast. You just made yourself a criminal. You just made all your friends and allies a criminal. Have you figured that out yet? Can you do 1 + 1 = 2 or not? Unbelievable how dumb these people are. Incredible. This is one of the most dangerous indictments I've ever seen. And it's, we'll be talking about it in the Sunday show. But conservatives and constitutionalists need to stop, foreigner involvement, Russian involvement. Come on. Look at what they're trying to do. It's ludicrous. It's absurd. It's asinine. It's unconstitutional. It's a threat to liberty. Period. End of story.